Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Welcome to this week's Top Stock Picks. I'm Tracy Brynick, and I'm joined at the chairs again by Nina Mishra. And we have a couple interesting picks. Both are in the internet space. Both are facing a lot of competition, but they have rising earning estimates, so we like them. Nina, I'm going to start with you because you have JD.com, which is a Chinese company, and we were talking before we went on the air here that I don't know much about JD.com. I know about some of its competitors, but what do they do? Why should I care?
So JD.com is a Chinese e-commerce giant. In fact, they are the second largest online retailer in China, next to Alibaba. And of course, Alibaba is better known.
Yeah.
JD.com is not so much popular here.
No, I always get confused by the name too. I always think like, is it a law thing or something? I don't know. I'm a lawyer, so I think of JDs like, oh, so I don't really understand the JD.com, but now I know what it is.
And they in fact have presence in Indonesia as well. They have been gaining on Alibaba in China, and they are planning to expand into other developing countries also this year. And over the long term, they plan to expand into developed market as well.
Okay, so do they do the same thing like Alibaba does, where they're just like the platform for the buying and selling?
Yes,
okay.
Right. And it was a Zacks rank #1 stock till yesterday.
Oh.
And it has fallen to rank #3. But it has a growth score of A and excellent growth potential. And in fact, on this slide, I have this explosive revenue growth for the company over the past few years. You can see how the company has been growing. And in fact, JD is not the only Chinese tech company which has been doing well this year. You know, companies like all Chinese tech giants, Tencent, Alibaba, and JD, Baidu, they all have been doing so well this year. And I think it's because it's a huge market. The population is close to 1.4 billion. And they place a lot of restrictions on foreign companies' operations.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not like I can be on Amazon over there.
Yes, exactly. So YouTube and Twitter, they are banned in China, and Google and Uber had to leave, and Amazon has not been able to make much headway. And it's a huge market. The middle class is growing, their incomes are expanding, and it's the fastest growing e-commerce and consumer market in the world. And delivery is cheap, so that is why e-commerce is growing, and people like to shop a lot on smartphones.
Right. I know I do.
It is the largest smartphone market also in the world, and because deliveries are cheap, so this e-commerce market has been really picking up. And even online grocery shopping has been surging over there. It's not really picked up here in the US. We'll see if it does.
Maybe now, Amazon and Whole Foods.
Yes,
yeah.
But it's been growing in China, and JD.com is up almost 52% year to date because of this growth potential. And
I guess I need to consider some of these Chinese, you know,
they look
shopping
really,
giants. Yeah.
Right, they look really good. And in fact, on this slide, I have the competitive performance year to date of JD.com with the popular SPDR Technology ETF, which holds US technology companies. So you can see JD.com is up almost 52%, where this technology ETF is up about 12% year to date.
Wow. Okay, so JD.com, if you're interested in the play over in China and that growing market, and you don't want to be in Alibaba, then this seems like they're holding their own against Alibaba.
And they have been investing a lot in technology, and they plan to have about 1 million drones for delivery in the coming years. And they are investing in smart warehouses too. So it's going to be an interesting play.
Okay, so this is one to keep on the list. Now mine is also one that's in the highly competitive area, which you just mentioned, and it's Twitter. Now I used to own Twitter in my personal portfolio until a couple months ago when I did sell it because I just felt like they weren't going where they needed to go with their earnings. But taking a look at the numbers now, I feel like they are making inroads in turning it around, getting to the profitability that everybody wants them to get to. They've done a lot with cutting back on the abuse that has been going on online, and I feel like they have some tools and things, and some of the complaints about that have declined, and that should help with advertising, because I think advertisers were leery of being on there with all the trolling and the bullying and things that were going on. But now I'm hopeful they're going to be going back there. They are Zacks ranked #1 now, because we're seeing a little bit of turn in the estimates. So I put those up. As you can see, they still are going to lose money, 29 cents for this year, but it's going in the right direction. Only 18-cent loss for next year. I do like to see that. One of the reasons I did sell it out of my own portfolio is because I just didn't want to still own the money losing stock, because I do believe that if they wanted to, they could be making money actually. But you know, everybody has
a lot in growth.
Yes, they're spending the money elsewhere. But they have a lot of cash on hand actually too, so they're fine that way. But I do like the direction of these estimates, and that's where you get the Zacks #1 rank. Yeah, you know, they're starting to edge up. So I put up the actual chart of what their estimates have looked like in the last couple of years. You could see it was pretty bad right after the IPO, but it's getting more bullish here, and you want to see those lines on this chart going up and to the right. So that is
in the right direction.
Yeah, so everything is improving as the analysts are getting a little more bullish here. Now I did put up the 1-year chart if you had bought this, and you can kind of see why I sold. I owned it for a while, but you know, it's just the shares aren't really going anywhere other than that one weird spike there in 2016. You know, they're kind of holding their own. They're off the lows. If you're willing to be a little bit more of a risk taker and decide that Twitter's going to be around a while and that they're going to get it right with the advertising eventually, then, you know, I kind of like it here. Even though I no longer own it, I kind of like regret selling it now, because this is a stock, it does have a lot of competition, but it is still growing its user base. And again, if they can get that advertising ramped up a bit here, I do think there's some more positive stuff going forward. So
Sure, I agree with you.
So I kind of like Twitter here, and I'm going to be taking a look at all these internet names. I feel like this is an area that they've been around a while, but you know, there's still opportunities. So
and they are all high growth potential, high risk stocks. So if you are
for sure.
So
as a value investor, you're kind of like meh about some of these. But if you want the growth, this is an area that you have to be looking at. Okay, so we'll be back again next week with some more top stock picks. As always, you can find us here at Zacks.com and on YouTube. See you then.